This is CTV News with Nafisa Karim.
Is overwhelming support for a social media ban for children under the age of 16.
Tonight, growing support for restrictions on social media for teens, but some say an all-out ban goes too far.
We need the funds as soon as possible so that we know that we can go out and go to bid and secure the equipment we need.
Hurry hard! The Victoria Curling Club needs urgent support to keep sweeping into next season. Plus, Adam finds out what happens when a woman on a philosophical road trip meets a boy full of deep questions. Later on the Sawatsky sign-off. Good evening and thank you for joining us. A new survey finds parents and many Canadians support banning kids under 16 from social media. The question was posed as the federal government considers doing exactly that. CTV's Anna McMillan has more from a local parent and an expert who warns an all-out ban might not be the way to go.
We have started conversations.
In Tom Davis's house, there are rules when it comes to social media.
It's limited amount of time, limited amount of apps.
Davis is the president of the Sooke Parents Education Advisory Council. His daughter is in high school.
Children, in my opinion, under a certain age, don't have the capacity to regulate themselves, especially as you get into what they call doom scrolling.
As parents like Davis try to protect their children from harmful content, harmful people, and addictive algorithms, a new survey shows many are in favor of an all-out social media ban for kids under 16.
There is overwhelming support for a social media ban for children under the age of 16.
The Angus Reid Institute surveyed more than 4,000 Canadian adults, and 75% of them said they support a ban. It's a move Australia made first, and Canada has signaled it's considering doing the same.
It provides a green light, a pretty big flag that Canadians are waving government through on around the legislation.
BC's Attorney General says she shared her support for the idea last week in Ottawa when she asked the feds to step up online safety measures.
There needs to be a clear regulatory framework for what's safe and what's not and what those thresholds are, and then real oversight when it comes to enforcing.
An internet safety instructor in Langford says he'd rather see regulations for features like infinite scrolling, automatic playback, and aggressive notifications.
If any young person has any motivation or the slightest amount of tech skills, a ban is going to be negligible.
He says kids use social media to express themselves, connect with each other, and even start small businesses.
As we've seen in other jurisdictions that have implemented bans, groups of teens have made legal challenges to their governments.
Instead of a prohibition, Davis says he'd prefer if teens could join social media platforms with a guardian's consent.
Every household's different. How each kid's deals with things and their maturity levels are different.
Anna McMillan, CTV News, Victoria.
RCMP have arrested a teen in Sooke in relation to alleged threats of a school shooting in the U.S. The tip came from a U.S. police investigation into similar threats by a 15-year-old south of the border. Last July, Louisville Metro Police Department found the U.S. teen was in regular communication with someone living in Sooke. Authorities identified the Canadian as a student at Edward Milne Secondary School. On Saturday, RCMP arrested the suspect without incident. The youth remains in custody and is facing one charge of conveying threats. With BC switching to year-round daylight time, a Langford councillor is calling on the province to fund better pathways and lighting along school routes. The switch means children will be commuting to school next winter in the dark. Langford councillor and mom Kimberly Guyrie has concerns for those kids' safety, so she's asking the province to reinstate its active transportation infrastructure grant that was not renewed last year. The program would help fund improved lighting, sidewalks, and controlled crosswalks near and around schools. The councillor says next winter will be an adjustment period for both drivers and kids, and the province needs to get ahead of any potential safety concerns associated with ditching the time change.
We can go a lot further with our municipal dollars when we have a partnership with the province. So we can have a larger impact when we have a short time frame to prepare, as we do for the fall, when we have a collective effort to improve safety on the streets for our most vulnerable road users, which in this instance is our kids walking to school.
Gyree wants the province to consider providing families of all income levels access to reflective clothing. The councillor would also like to see the province expand the walking school bus initiative, which has been running in Langford as a pilot program. It sees adults walking children to schools from different drop-off locations around the municipality. Colwood is the latest community to join Evolve, a growing electric bike and scooter share network. Starting in April, Evolve is expected to launch 50 to 70 bikes and scooters similar to Langford and Victoria, which are already part of the network. Riders can unlock the scooters or bike using an app and pay for rides by the minute. The program will roll out at 16 parking stations throughout Colwood, and rides must start and end at those designated spots. City staff will monitor the bikes and scooters. The program will be reviewed after 12 months. You have just over a week to weigh in on Saanich's draft zero waste strategy before the plan goes to Saanich Council. It's part of the district's 2020 climate plan and aims to reduce each person's waste to 250 kilograms a year by 2031 and 210 kilograms by 2040. The report contains strategies and actions across 4 focus areas and was drafted by technical experts, the public, and community representatives.
Goal is to reduce the amount of waste that Saanich is sending to the landfill. So, you know, all of the kind of the actions and strategies in the zero waste strategy are focused around avoiding waste, preventing waste, and reducing how much we send to landfill.
People have until April 7th to share their thoughts on the plan, which can be found on the district website. The Victoria Curling Club is in desperate need of a new ice-making plant and has embarked on a fundraising effort to make it happen. To replace the aging equipment, the club needs $850,000. So far, the nonprofit that runs the club has managed to raise $600,000 of that total bill. The current system regularly breaks down, leading to numerous event cancellations. More urgently, however, the failing ammonia-style ice plant is creating a significant safety risk to those inside and outside the building. The club's general manager says they have roughly 1 month left to raise the remaining funds.
In our off season now, ideally, our season would start again in the mid-September. So we need to have the new plant installed by then. In order to do that, we need the funds as soon as possible so that we know that we can go out and go to bid and secure the equipment we need and the contractor to install it. Some of the equipment needs to be ordered as soon as possible.
There appears to be 2 potential heroes in this story. Victoria City Councillors Matt Dell and Krista Loughton, who have brought a motion to be voted on at this Thursday's council meeting. The ask is that the city directs $175,000 from its contingency fund towards the project, although if approved, that cash would still come with a catch.
On the condition they raise the final 75. So this is just meant to show that the city has some buy-in, that this is a really important local facility, and I think the city of Victoria should be involved in helping them, make sure curling exists in the city.
To make a donation, go to the Victoria Curling Club's website to ensure the nonprofit can meet its fundraising goal by the end of April. A new team of island riders is preparing to take on the annual Tour de Rock this September. Practice is underway for the 14-day cycle, which will take riders from one end of the island to the other to raise funds for the Childhood Cancer Research Fund. The team of 23 riders made up of police agencies and emergency personnel will pedal roughly 1,000 kilometers.
A lot of the funding from Tour de Rock, 80% of it goes roughly to Camp Good Times, and of course the team always has the opportunity to go over and visit Camp Good Times, and it's such a rewarding experience to see the kids.
While the team starts its training, donations are already being accepted for this year's ride with a goal to hit $1 million. Some homegrown talent shining at the 55th Juno Awards last night.
Canada's always cared about art. Canada's always cared about culture. I'm a product of that.
Nelly Furtado was inducted into the Canadian Music Hall of Fame. She was introduced by Drake, who appeared by video. The Mount Douglas grad first shot to fame when she released her debut album, Whoa Nelly, in the year 2000. Meantime, Juno's newcomer, Cameron Whitcomb from Nanaimo, took home the award for Breakthrough Artist of the Year and won Country Album of the Year for The Hard Way. The 23-year-old, who appeared on American Idol in 2022, was nominated in 5 categories and also performed at the show.
Sunshine and 9 degrees in Victoria right now. Looks like 9 will go down as the daytime high for today, which is a little warmer than yesterday. Just 6 yesterday. Double digits for the rest of the week. Forecast is next.
CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Make the most of your next trip by booking with those who've been there. Visit expediacruises.ca.
Well, Josh, it is a pleasant start to the week, but will it stay that way?
Well, I think we'll see a little more cloud cover tomorrow than what we had today. Temperatures are going to be pretty close. We get to 9 for a daytime high. We'll get to about 10, maybe 11 tomorrow. Wednesday looks like the best chance for some rain in Victoria. So it's some midweek showers pushing through. We're at 9 degrees right now. A little bit of a breeze out of the north at about 15. 8 in Tofino, 10 in Port Alberni. There's your cloud cover that's going to roll through as we head through the evening and the overnight period tonight. So watch your increasing cloud cover. Still pretty dry across the island, though, tomorrow. This takes you through to 6 p.m. Here comes the next system. And this low's going to move some rain out of the west coast by early Wednesday morning. Looks like most of that rain should pass by the coast through the afternoon hours. Still a couple scattered showers, and it's mainly through the afternoon hours that areas around Victoria, up towards Nanaimo, and into the Comox, Courtenay regions. That's your best chance for some showers. It'll be later in the day on Wednesday. North Island, some rain off and on through the day. It doesn't look like it's going to amount all that much. Windy as well for Wednesday, gusts to about 50 or 60 kilometers per hour. So enjoy tomorrow. Light wind, mostly cloudy skies, high of about 9. You're back into the 10 or 11 range to close the week with a chance of some more rain Friday and Saturday. Inland areas, mostly cloudy, 11 degrees tomorrow. Cooler on Wednesday with that chance of rain, which looks pretty steady. Then a mix of sun and cloud, 11 on Thursday. Showers returning for Friday. Weekend looks drier and warmer for most areas. 9 and mostly cloudy on the west coast tomorrow. Rain moving through in the morning. Still a slight chance of a couple scattered showers in the afternoon, but most of the steadier rain will be done by midday Wednesday. And then some sunshine on Thursday before the rain returns Friday. Comox, mostly cloudy, 8 degrees tomorrow. 7 or 8 on Wednesday. Gusts to about 50 or 60 kilometers per hour and some rain. Partly cloudy skies and 12 on Thursday, and should be in that 12 or 13 range for Saturday, Sunday as well. 10 in Nanaimo under mostly cloudy skies tomorrow. That's pretty close to average. Showers or periods of rain on Wednesday, probably no more than 5, maybe 10 millimeters. Wind to be gusting to about 40 kilometers per hour, so not quite as strong as other parts of the island. And then 12 and partly cloudy for Thursday. Looks pretty dry for Friday, Saturday, Sunday as well, with temperatures in the 10 to 15 degree range for daytime highs. In Victoria, 3 degrees tomorrow morning, so a cool start to the day. Mostly cloudy, high of 10 in the afternoon, and then late tomorrow night, like after midnight, is a slight chance of some showers. You get some rain or periods of scattered showers on Wednesday. Again, this doesn't look really heavy. Gusts will be around 40 or 50 kilometers per hour, and temperatures don't really drop off all that much, even with the rain. 14 for Thursday with a mix of sun and cloud, chance of showers Friday, and then into the mid-teens for Saturday and Sunday. CTV Weather is brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. So a little bit of everything over the course of the next couple of days, Nafisa. No steady, heavy rain, though. Just scattered showers, especially Wednesday and at the end of the week.
All right. Thank you, Josh. A South Korean military submarine is going to join the Royal Canadian Navy for exercises off BC in a few months, as the country looks to secure a multi-billion-dollar contract to replace our aging fleet of subs. The submarine, similar to the one a Canadian delegation recently toured in South Korea, will be accompanied by a Korean frigate as the two warships visit CFB Esquimalt from May 23rd to June 2nd. The ships will participate in anti-submarine warfare exercises with some of our vessels and aircraft. South Korea is currently in competition with a German submarine manufacturer to build up to a dozen new subs for the Canadian Navy. 2 Canadian submariners will board the Korean sub in Hawaii and sail with it for the remainder of its journey to CFB Esquimalt. The federal government expects to award the new submarine contract by 2028, with delivery of the first sub no later than 2035. Artificial intelligence has made it difficult to decipher whether a video on social media is real or fake. Major world events are now often met with an influx of false and misleading videos created by AI that circulate online. CTV's Adrian Gabriel now on the battle between truth and misinformation.
I'm encouraging you to register for our online program.
This fake AI-generated video of Prime Minister Mark Carney pitching an investment opportunity has lured an untold number of Canadians. It was created by doctoring this actual Canada Day message.
And reinvest in our armed forces.
It's just a drop in an ocean of false, misleading videos created by using AI, circulating online.
It's a fundamental challenge to our shared understanding of reality.
The boundaries of reality are being tested with alarming frequency since the war in Iran began. This fake video, recently shared by thousands, claimed that Iranian drones caused this damage in Dubai. This phony footage showing Iranian bombs raining down on Tel Aviv was reposted on Elon Musk's X social media site, with the platform's AI chatbot Grok telling users that yes, this is authentic footage from Tel Aviv, even though it wasn't.
This is going to become an issue across virtually every scope of life as our information ecosystem continues to fragment and people will pick and choose aspects of reality that they choose to believe.
Hi, Donald John Trump. Those increasingly in charge of the information highway are a small group of tech leaders, many of whom were front and center at President Donald Trump's 2025 inauguration.
When we think about challenges to Canadian sovereignty through sponsoring various separatist movements, I think we need to be thinking about the potential exposure that Canadians have to American malign forces.
Since August 2023, Meta removed all Canadian news from Facebook and Instagram in response to the Online News Act that requires platforms compensate news publishers for profiting off their content. Filling the gap on Meta, a proliferation of posts masquerading as fact-based news. CTV News asked Meta about the perceived threat to Canadian sovereignty posed by divisive, misleading posts on its site. They didn't respond, though we did track down Canada's Minister of Identity and Culture.
It's creating an atmosphere that is very unhealthy.
Ottawa has shared that discussions with Meta to lift the news block are ongoing. This at a time when deciphering fact from fiction online grows more challenging by the hour. Those we spoke with believe the best line of defense against all forms of misinformation is education and civic engagement to ensure that Canada has an accurately informed electorate. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Toronto.
Coming up, free philosophy. Adam finds out what happens when a boy on a walk meets a woman on a philosophical road trip. Next on the Sawatsky Sign-Off. Adam finds out what happens when an 11-year-old's walk takes a philosophical turn on the Sawatsky Sign-Off.
Well, it's not unusual for Elliot Smith to spend time near nature with his mom.
I like going on hikes and walks with my mom.
And it's not uncommon to borrow her phone to take photos of birds along the way.
Really nice there. I'm glad we got out today.
It is irregular to happen upon this invitation to chat with a philosopher for free.
It's like questions almost, but like deep thought out questions.
Before Elliot asks his deep question, Dominique Poulin answers what she's doing here.
I'm on a philosophy road trip.
A philosophy road trip? Dominique, who earned a master's in philosophy before working as a counselor, is traveling from Quebec to BC, having conversations with countless hundreds of strangers along the way.
It goes back to Socrates, right?
Socrates, the famous Greek philosopher who regularly had conversations in public places with all sorts of people.
They choose the question, and then we think together.
But rather than debate ideas, Dominique strives for dialogue.
And opening yourself up to different perspectives.
And after embarking on 9 other philosophical road trips across Canada, the U.S., and Europe, Dominique says the most common questions are the same as Elliot's.
What's the meaning of life? Why do I exist?
You think about that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. The 11-year-old suggests the meaning of life is enjoying what you love, like watching football, collecting cards, or spending time with your mom. Well, Dominique wonders if we exist to share love.
So does that mean your life doesn't have meaning when it doesn't have love?
While they don't discover any definitive answers,
Excellent question.
they do seem to agree with Socrates that an unexamined life is not worth living, that we can find meaning by simply asking these kinds of questions together.
Talk and to meet new people, that in itself is a joy.
I think I'll probably be thinking about it all day because it was a really deep and enjoyable conversation.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Victoria.
The Sawatsky Sign-Off, brought to you by Coastal Community Credit Union. Bank happy at Coastal Community Credit Union.
That is it for CTV News Vancouver Island. Thank you so much for joining us. Good night.